Hey, hey, hey. Hello, traders. Welcome to Drippy Gang. This is Drippy, your source of options drip on a daily basis. Here we talk about some of the most exciting setups based on the options flow, technical analysis, pattern analysis, macroeconomic events, and current market structure. So if you want to make some tendies, stick around. On the screen, I have my YouTube channel, and a lot of folks are confused about subscriptions versus membership. So, subscription is free for everyone. It's just basically click on the subscribe button, and the join is where I post some exclusive content. So, Drip Noob is where you can chat with me. You have loyalty badges. You can use emojis on live stream, and then Drip Rookie is where I have early access to new videos, member only live streams, exclusive gifs, and much more to come. And I have a couple playlists here so you can check out for option beginners, trading setup, live streams, scalping series, unusual whales series. This is probably the most popular one. And then finally, the winners and the unusual options weekly. This is probably where a lot of people spend time, which is where I upload my weekly setups. So yeah, just a quick guide on how to kind of navigate my YouTube channel if you're new here. All right, so please note that the stuff I share here are just my opinions, and this is not financial advice. I may hold some of these options contracts, and you are responsible for managing your risk and taking profits. Um, to those who are new here, you might not know, but trading is my passion, and I believe it is my ultimate destiny after all. So that's the reason why I'm spending like countless hours and weekends sharing knowledge content with you guys. So it does help out a lot if you subscribe and hit the like button. So please, 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 please do that. I think it will help me a lot if you can do it. So please click subscribe and like button. Also, if you want a discount on unusual whales, you can check the description below. And today I'm going to talk about a couple setups here which I'm excited to talk about. And first thing I want to tell is that just like the current market, it definitely is a little bit bearish here. It's like looking at the SPY here, it's kind of retesting this previous high, and we saw this kind of like support here around this double bottom here. So my expectation is that it might retest around this area tomorrow, hoping to get some dips here. If it fails below this area, I think next line of support is here, and then we have a couple of gaps to fill here, so it might do that as well, and that would be support as well. Same Qs are looking even weaker, so it's retesting that previous high as usual, and the flow is also bearish for Qs, so it might like go down, finish this channel before the next leg up. But I am expecting some kind of bounce next week, but we'll see how it goes. Definitely Qs are weaker than SPY, and we need to be aware of the market condition. This volume was strong as well. The drawdown is strong, and we have bad news all over from China and inflation news, and just like J Powell being hawkish. So combining these factors, and VIX again is breaking out. Now I think it might come down back to like maybe 30, 28 and 25, and then make a move up if it does. If not, then we can short it all the way down to this area, which is basically around 16 to 18. Another thing to note is that put to call ratio in overall market is really, this is a fear in the market right now. You can see here, this was in October, this was in July, so we do have some kind of fear in the market right now. And this was back when COVID crash happened, and this was just insane PCCE ratio. But now there is fear in the market, but there's nothing to be like super worried about. uh, but definitely keep in mind that this TLT iShares Treasury Bond ETF, which is basically a kind of like a low risk asset, and it just broke out as well. So some things to keep in mind, um, like these are key equities, and we need to watch them every other day, just to kind of make sure that if we are trying to buy calls, which should be below 18 ideally, and if you're trying to like buy puts, then now is the good time, as long as you have a good entry. So let's move ahead and talk about some of the setups here. First I want to talk about is PFE. Now, like there has been good news with PFE that their current vaccine might work against Omicron, and also I think the CEO came out and told that they can work on a new vaccine and release it by next year, I think March. Don't quote me on that, but I just read it somewhere. There has been varying news on it, so I'm not sure exactly like what is the right answer there. But just looking at the chart, this is a symmetrical pennant here, so a measured move up would be basically the size of this um, candle here, which is basically 6%. So if we count 6%, if it breaks out with a strong volume, we can see a 5 to 6% move here to 58 area. And I think that's pretty interesting, given the fact that um, we are seeing sell off on some other wax names, but we are also seeing bullish flow on some others. So I will talk about MRNA as well. But looking at the flow for PFE here, this was Friday. We have minimum premium set to 50,000 here, and you know we can see here with all these enabled and 30 days to expiration and out of money orders, you can see clearly that there have been out of money calls here for 55, 54.5. Now these are not necessarily super out of money. PFE is a slow mover, but something to keep in mind is that the premium is not too much. It's just 250k. So usually I like to see, for big names like big pharma, I would like to see millions in placed order. But you cannot ignore that this is a bullish versus bearish premium, and we have 83% bullish premium here. The strikes being targeted are 54.5, which is pretty much at the money at this point of time, and also it's 17th of December and then 10th of December. So next this upcoming expiry and then next expiration. um, let's talk about MRNA while we are at it. And so looking at MRNA with same filters, you can see that it's just kind of like 50% here. But as soon as we delete this DTE range, and then you can see that the premium has increased to 62%, which is bullish. So where are these orders being placed? And you can see here it's 21st of December 2022. So someone is swing trading MRNA, expecting upside to $300 here for the premium, and the stock right now is hovering around 296. And also if you look here at uh, the chart for MRNA, it's sitting right at this. So if you draw the fib levels from this bottom to kind of like this top, which was around this area, and it broke through that 360 area, came back, and now it has kind of like this double bottom here. You see these wicks here, someone is buying below 300. So, and it's right at this confluence of it's a golden pocket, and also just like EMA confluence. So it's a key technical area for MRNA. So now 318 is a key area, and then 322 is, in my opinion, super important. If it can break through that, then if you go at the lower time frame here, yeah. So again, we are seeing some kind of like higher high formation here with this trend line, and this thing is kind of setting up for retest of maybe what what I think might happen is that I might retest around, let's say, maybe fill this gap here or retest at least this area. So we can play MRNA intraday, not planning to swing MRNA, but just because of the news, everything else, I think it's a good stock to keep on your watch list. And there is a gap down here as well. So if it breaks below this area 292, I expect this gap to be filled 273 area, and then the next support is around 269 to 70. So we can play it down and up both. So that's why I like this setup as well. And MRNA can pay us decent amount of premium, if you play it right. But overall, I'm leaning bullish on MRNA. Just looking at the flow and looking at other factors involved with this whole COVID news. I think as the news develop, we might see more and more uh, volume pouring into wax names. So definitely something to keep in mind. And then if you look at the weekly time frame here, it's kind of like forming this channel here. It's not completely, I would say, a channel, but it does seem like it's kind of like creating this channel, and it's a bigger channel. Let's look at the monthly chart. Yeah, so kind of everywhere this chart, but still, this monthly EMA is holding well, and it has never really broken down this EMA. Every time it retests this, we see next run up. So it might happen, might not happen. Overall leaning bullish short term, and then we'll see how it goes. So next one I want to talk about is ABBV, and I think I've been talking about this for a while. This is a classic base and breakout setup. One thing to keep in mind is that it had a bullish hammer close on the weekly. So look here, that from 115 to 119, a $4 move for this stock, which is pretty solid, and it closed above this resistance, which was acting as a super strong resistance for a while. On the daily chart, you can see that we have a squeeze going on. MACD is about to curl, and also if you look at the overall flow for ABBV, we can see here that so if you look here at ABBV, these are calls for 21st of January, 125 call, and then if you like narrow it down to 30 days, we can see 120 call. And again, these are out of money calls. Orders are not that big, but this is a $1.8 million order for 21st January. So this is a longer swing. So this is, in my opinion, the only swing play, which in my opinion is a high confidence swing play, because even in this market, this stock has been performing so well compared to others, right? So we know that even if market rebounds, this is the stock to be in. Overall bullish premium is 80%. 67.5%, and the strikes being targeted as 125 for 21st of January. So I like this setup for a swing. You can trade intraday, but this moves slow. You see here how slow it is, but it is giving those, like, I would like to see a strong breaker on the volume, and then next couple targets would be 120 and 121, around that area. I think that's 125 is way out, and that's my target as well. But that's for 21st of January. I think if you get a pullback here, we can buy for 21st of January. If it breaks out, we can buy. So there are multiple ways to trade this setup. Again, super interesting setup. Definitely keep this one on your watch list. Now, next I want to talk about, it's an interesting setup. SAVA. And the reason why I like SAVA, Cassava Sciences, is because it's at an interesting juncture, technically speaking. And you know, here, just give me one sec. Let me try to load and show you something interesting here. So I try to like draw like anchored VWAP from all-time low, which was 15th May 2020, which was like $2. So this stock went from $2 to $110. Sorry, $120. So this is the anchor VWAP, and you see how it has held through this anchor VWAP all the way until now. It hasn't even tested this one yet. It just kept bouncing away on this trend line right here. Now the other day it kind of like retested this area again, and then it rebounded as expected. This trend line, every time it touches this trend line, we can see strong reversal, a violent one every time it happens. So I'm expecting similar thing to happen. Now if it breaks down below this anchor VWAP, let's say that it tries to retest this area around 41.5, that would be perfect entry, at least in my opinion, because it has never really tested this for a while. So I think there will be a lot of buyers around this area. So if it drops down to 41.75, then I think it would be really nice area to you know also please like and subscribe. I know that I am trying to interrupt you guys, but just wanted to remind you that please like and subscribe. It definitely helps. So anyway, if it breaks down below this area, I think the next demand zone would be around this area. Like, this has never been tested, 39.9 area. So this is a good cluster in my opinion where buyers would be. This whole cluster here is a critical zone for SAVA. SAVA is the ticker name. And I like trading this one because it can create a good opportunities for us to make premium. Like, this volume on the sell-off is also super low compared to these big one bars here. So that's another sign of just like small accumulation going on. But it's not really accumulation because it kind of dropped all the way from here to here. But this name is super volatile, so we can take advantage of that. And if you look at the flow here for SAVA, that's also interesting because these out of money calls are, the stock is at 44 and this is like $100 call here, and 175k premium here. So overall premium is, if you look here, the overall premium is bearish, kind of 50%. But when you look at out of money only, and when you narrow it down 50,000 plus orders, then things get interesting, because now we are seeing that 21st of January again to 170, and premiums are not too expensive. I remember last time when it was at around that area, it was like $300-$400 when it was rallying. So super interesting setup in my opinion. Definitely keep an eye on this one. Let's move on to the next one I want to talk about is Tesla. Now Tesla broke through key setup, right? We have the same setup here for what's the name, I showed you UPFV, this pennant here. And then for Tesla is the same, and Tesla, Elon Musk is selling a lot of shares, and I think what might happen is that it might kind of retest this area. There will be buyers here for sure. See this unfilled bids here, so it's a demand zone. And so what I'm expecting it to kind of like drop to 979, 980 area, and then kind of retest this 1050 if the market is strong, and then finally dump and retest this breakout, which was the all-time high breakout around 900. And there's this gap here which Tesla, I think, has a history of filling these gaps when it sells off. The sell-off is strong. If you look at this from this perspective here, you can see that it closed below this previous low on the weekly chart, which was around 1016, and it closed below it. So bears are in control at this point of time, and a measured move would be something like if I this is a rough estimate here, 24% down, right? So 24% down from, let's say, this support area would be around this area right here. It's 816, and I think, in my opinion, that's way too low for Tesla, but Elon Musk has to sell a lot of shares. In my opinion, I think a lot of buyers would be around 900, which is basically the previous high here. So that would be a sign of buyers stepping in. But let's see the flow for Tesla, which is super bearish. We are seeing here, let's narrow it down to 30 days. That's what I like. And you look at that, just $13 million someone purchased on 3rd, and expiration is 17th of December, and then we have 950 put. So, and then, like, overall premium, if you look here, 65% bearish. That's a bad sign. And now look at the 950 strike, and then 900 and 1000 strike, and then it's literally next week expiration. So we have huge negative delta here, and that's not a good sign for a stock like Tesla. And it moves on options pretty much, and you can see at market close we are seeing these super strong bearish orders here. $3 million order on 3rd. So this is on my watch list, primary setup here for bearish setup here. Now next, move on to AMD. Now I think tech in general looks super weak at this point of time. Now look at AMD's chart. Looks like a head and shoulder formation here. Got rejected, and now it's kind of retesting this EMA on the daily. Now let's go back to the 4-hour chart for AMD, and now if you look here, this is like a mini head and shoulder. And one thing to note about AMD is that AMD, when it reverses, reversals are strong on it, and when it is in trends is strong on it. But this trend line is super important, right? If it breaks below this trend line, then I think you need to buy and think about puts. But right now it's holding this. So in my experience, I think a good entry for a short position would be 146 retest. So if it fails that, then you can enter puts for 130, 140 puts, 135 puts. But if it doesn't, then it can continue up. But the flow is kind of bearish for AMD. Same with Nvidia, and it is kind of extended, at this point of time. If you look at the weekly chart, definitely extended here. This is a triple top, and then on the daily itself, you can see the RSI just like declining, and MACD curl negative. So just like overall technicals not looking strong at this point of time. But keep in mind, this stock has also run a lot, so it would still be a pullback. Like, even if it does pull back all the way to 135, would be still a healthy pullback for this stock. And that would be a good dip buying opportunity for stocks. And let's look at AMD's flow. Now again, we are looking at super bearish flow sorted by premium here. You can see 1.6 million, 1.4 million, $135 puts expiring 17th of December, which is next week. And then overall, again, 77% bearish premium, and then the target expiration is 17th of December, and then the strike price is 135. Same with Nvidia. Nvidia is also looking bearish. So all the semiconductor names, 61%. Nvidia actually had a bad news. So I was expecting the premium to be more bearish, but it looks like AMD has more bearish premium. And if you look at SMH, which is the sector, now when you look at the sector for SMH, you can see here that there's once call here out of money, and then let's remove it, and now let's see. And the premium for the sector is actually bullish, so that's the reason why I think we need to proceed with caution when it comes to these names, because it is on a trend line support as well. So yeah, definitely expecting buyers to step in at this point, which we did here. You can see here it did kind of move from 140 to 143. So the key level, I think in my opinion, to watch is like around this area right here. This supply zone would be a critical area, in my opinion at least, where we'll see what happens next. So keep an eye on AMD for sure. These EMAs have curled down here on the 4-hour, which is not a good sign. And on the daily also, it's below that fast EMA. So again, not a good sign. Now let's look at another one, which is PDD. Now PDD, I already alerted this setup. This is probably as bearish as it can get. Head and shoulders breakout. Breakout of this key trendline support from all time, all the way from 2019. It's been holding this, and it broke down, and overall just like overall bad news on this name, along with China and names in general. And we can see all China names are suffering. It's just not PDD. It's just like all of them, I think, are suffering. What's the name? EDU is just dump. Bava is dump. XPEV, which is actually a strong name, is also dumping hard. You see this? Not a good sign for Chinese stocks. NEO, same thing. They're breaking down from key levels here. NEO actually broke down this pennant here, which again, super bearish in my opinion. Once it's below this area, $30, it's going back to 25 and then 21. That's the problem owning Chinese stocks, right? You never know what's gonna happen next. So investors are panic selling these stocks, and not really a good time to be in these. And then if you look at the flow for PDD, super bearish flow here, again filtered by 50,000 here. And then if you DTE 30, again this is almost $1 million, $50 put, and look at this, almost 90% bearish. And 10th is next week expiration, and we're looking at $50, so can pay us decently. I think I would like to enter at a good I think if it can retest this 58 area, that would be a perfect entry for us to kind of retest this 50 area right here. I think but I think in my opinion, my personal opinion, I think it has it has room to go all the way to like 43, because if you look at the previous chart, like that's pretty much the support area here, this previous high, and then this support area where it kind of started this new trend from. So yeah, the head and shoulder breakout on a higher time frame is super bearish. You can, I've shown it on Beyond, similar thing. This was a cup and handle, but apart from that, I think we had Upstart as well. Upstart had head and shoulders breakout here a while back. This head and shoulders here, head, left, right. But yeah, now Upstart is testing this key trend line. We'll talk about Upstart as well. Let me add Upstart. All right, so PDD super bearish, and then next one I want to talk about real quick is CRM. CRM had weak earnings and guidance, and it kind of broke this key trend line here, and we are seeing weakness in these high multiple names and stocks in general. So it is kind of like at this support trend line, so that's why we see this bounce here. But if you look at the flow for CRM, it is again super bearish. This is a $250 put for 17th of December, $2.1 million around market close. And if you look at this as a spread, and they're selling calls and buying puts, so this is actually a super bearish spread. And you look at the P&L for this one just to see like what this person is up to. You can see that if the stock dumps these, I mean it's a linear P&L, like so if it, even if it like, let's say goes to 260, this person will probably lose $1 million. And then even if it goes to like 250, they'll make $3 million. So super bearish bet on CRM. So definitely keep CRM on your watch list. I think the key levels to watch are this area right here, 261. I don't think, in my opinion, it will kind of break through this area. I think if it can retest this area, 260, and then reject from there all the way back to 250 area. So keep that in mind. And then the last one I want to talk about is Upstart. Now last week I talked about Upstart, but it kind of like dumped more with the market. But if you look at this all-time high anchored VWAP for Upstart, you can see that kind of like goes down and always curls back up, a couple days, 1-2 days, and then it's back up here. It just, so similar thing. I mean, if it gets rejected here, it can fill this gap to 140 and then continue next leg up. But keep in mind that it kind of had the similar setup here, this gap, and it never filled this gap. It came all the way down here and then next leg up, retest of this area. So we can see something like this with Upstart. And then if you look at the flow for Upstart, you can see now that the flow is turning bullish finally, but the premium is not that much. So we want to keep this on our watch list. The premium for Upstart, if you've seen previous rallies, it's been millions of dollars. This is not really a big premium, and these calls are not way out of money. I mean, except these orders here for third of, I mean, this is already expired actually. So let's do this from 1 to 30, and then now you can see that we have for 10th we have $200, roughly around 180k. But overall, like it's not significant premium for me to take action, but keeping Upstart on my watch list because it had price upgrade and it is on a key technical level here. This fib support is acting as a strong support, and this might be a reversal signal here, this reversal doji, and then that would be a good sign. And Upstart premiums are actually cheap now for calls, so that's also another thing to consider. So overall, these are my setup, folks. I hope you like this video. If you like my content, please like, share, retweet, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me a lot. If you want to be a member, then go ahead and join channel. I just shared like a fire play for Drip Rookies, and have a good week next week. I think we will have good opportunities in the market as usual. Play it safe, don't over leverage yourself, always have some cash ready because this is not a swingers market right now. If VIX is below 18, that would be a good sign for us to start swinging again. Some of these beaten down names, RSI is way oversold for Upstart at this point of time. So all right folks, have a good rest of your day. Bye.